Hi guys, update. Guess what pie took first place at the fall festival? You got it. Stick around. You don't want to miss this pie crust because it's award winning. Stay tuned, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mandy, and you're here with Back to Basics with Mandy, where we do things the old-fashioned way. And I have to go to a fall festival tomorrow, and I'm entering a pie in a pie contest. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to come on here and show you guys how to make a perfect pie crust. I've been making pie crust for a very long time, very long, and generally most people don't make a perfect pie crust because it's very difficult. It's more difficult than you would think. It's less about the ingredients and more about the technique. So if you don't have the technique down, it's very hard to make a perfect pie crust. So consequently, you might notice you go out to the store and you buy a lot of pie crust and it has a shortbread cookie base to it, not so much a traditional pie crust. And that's because a shortbread cookie based pie crust is 100 times easier than a traditional pie crust to make. But today I'm going to show you how to make a traditional pie crust. And that is made with lard. Always lard. I always use lard. That's what I use. I know some people might have an aversion to lard, but you can you can use shortening if you want. If you don't want to use your lard, but my preference is always the lard. So I'm going to put the camera down, guys, and we're going to see about our ingredients first. Okay. When I do a pie crust, I use this whole block of lard because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a huge batch. I've decided that I'm going to make 2 pies and I'm going to put them in these ceramic pie plates. I like ceramic the best. I like it better than aluminum, and aluminum is by far the worst. And I like it better than glass too. Like tin. I like it better. It is my pie plate of choice is ceramic. Okay, so what I got here is I've got 6 cups of white flour. Just all-purpose flour, nothing fancy. I have 1 egg, 1 pound of lard. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. I'll just put that in right now. There we go. Salt's in there. And then I have 2 cups of water, which I may use all of it and I may not. So we'll have to see. Flour already measured out and put into this bowl. Now we're going to take our lard here. Now, here, this is a very important tip, guys. Everything has to be cold. Sometimes, people even do things like they make sure their rolling pin is cold. Their eggs are cold. Their water is cold. Everything has to be cold because what you don't want is you don't want to melt the fat. So I'm just going to cut it up into cubes. I'm just going to put it in this into our flour. To me, the art of making a good pie is totally in the crust. Pies with graham cracker crust, they're fine. They're all right. They're good. They're tasty. I mean, a lot of cake pies you wouldn't want. Like Ava's making a key lime pie. She's going to make a graham cracker crust. I think that suits that pie perfectly fine. Okay, so we have this here. Now what we want to do, this is what's called a pastry blender. We want to cut our pastry into the flour. We want to have little bits of fat cut into our flour, and we want the fat to be about the size of a pea, like maybe that. So we want it to keep its form. So we're going to keep blending this until we get all the fat into the size of peas. Okay, so we've gotten our dough into a nice good, what I think is good. Look at this piece of lard, right? That's a little bit big, but sometimes I like the pieces of lard to be a little bit bigger than smaller. I don't want my lard to get too small in here. All right, so we've mixed that together, and now we're going to add our egg. Remember, guys, everything is cold. Even my hands, you know, the heat that comes off of your body temperature. I need my hands to stay relatively cold too. So that helps if you have everything around you cold, then your hands are going to stay cold. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of water in there. I'm going to add a cup of I'm going to add a cup of water to my egg. Now, generally, this is the measurement that the recipe calls for, 1 cup of liquid. I have more liquid here because I may or may not add more. The trick to pie pastry is to not overwork it. It has to be very gently put together. Because I leave my pieces of lard a little bit on the large side, sometimes I need more liquid, right? You can blend something by mixing it more or by adding more liquid. It's better to add more liquid than to overmix your pie. Now, your pie crust. Now I'm going to put this on the counter so I can knead it better. And I'm very gently touching this because I do not want to incorporate those pieces of lard. Well, I guess I should say I do not want to mush away the pieces of lard. I want them to stay in there, nice and fat the way they are. But I got to get this to bind together. So I am probably going to use all this water. I don't know if you can see on camera, but I am barely touching this. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more water in it, not much more. And then I'm going to turn it into a ball. Okay, that's it. I am done mixing this. I'm going to kind of move it over to the side, and you guys can see how unincorporated this is. It's damp to my touch. I can touch this. If I wanted to, I could mix this and it would be in one tight ball, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to let the rolling pin now do the mixing. Okay? Let me just get rid of this stuff here. Okay. So I'm going to peel a size off that I need here. This is my pastry mat. I love this. One of the big things about making pastry is it's so messy. You know, my old self, I used to be like, oh, I'd make some pastry, but it, it makes the counter messy. It makes everything messy. But the pastry mat makes it easy. So there you can see. Now this is a little bit sticky. I'm going to put a little flour down here. And I'm going to roll this. I'm going to put some flour on here. Like I said, guys, I've been doing this for a very long time. How I decide when it's the right amount is by feel. So again, how do you get perfect at something? You just do it over and over and over again. I want to keep this good and floured because this dough is a little bit wet. Like you saw that water I put in there. Trying to clean my hands up a little bit. Now, I put the camera down and show you, but I know it's not going to get picked up in the camera lens. But when I look through this is full of veins of white lard. That is what makes your pie crust flaky. Is all these little, see, that's lard right there. All these little veins of lard. So when you put it in the oven, all that lard melts in between the flour and makes it flaky, which is what you're after. This is known as a bench scraper. I'm just a little bit afraid. Can you see there? Can you see the white? That I haven't made it big enough for that pie plate. So I'm just going to make it just a tiny bit thinner. Pie, real legit, authentic, traditional pie crust is in fact one of the hardest things to make because it is all about technique, which is probably why all those factories, they're just pumping out a shortbread one, right? A cookie. It's like a cookie crust on the bottom. Now you want to make sure that you gently put your pie crust down into the corners and you don't pull and stretch it. Because the type of pie I'm making for the contest is going to be a cream pie. I decided to make a cherry almond cream pie. I was going to make a cheesecake apple thing, but then Hollywood wanted to do that, and I said, okay, you go ahead and do that. I'll make something different. Holly won the pie contest last year. Now, I'm just taking the excess, and instead of cutting it off, I'm kind of building up the sides of my pie with it. There we have it. Okay, guys, there it is. Now, because this pie doesn't have a top on it and I'm going to pre-bake it in the oven, I'm just going to flute the edges. How we flute the edges is I stick my finger there and then I take This finger, make a little V all the way around. There we are. Where'd our fork go? Now I'm just going to put a couple of holes in here so that it doesn't bubble up when we're baking it. Okay, this is going in the oven. Okay, guys, so I've got my pies out of the oven, but this is what I got with my 6 cups of flour. So what I'm going to do is I'm making one pie for the fall festival, and I'm going to make one pie for us at home to eat because we won't get to eat that pie. It goes into the contest, and then all the people at the fall festival get to eat it. And then I made up 4 little things of pie pastry, and I'm going to put these in the freezer. I'm going to freeze them, and then for a quick grab when I need to do a pie or um, a meat pie or a turkey pie or something. But I don't know if you can see it, but this is very flaky. Very. See this? See that? Can you see that? I'll save this pie for us here at home. But this is what you get here: flakes, flakes of pie crust. You don't get that when you have a cookie crust. That's yummy. Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm going to make us a pie here, one for home, and we'll continue on with that. I'm going to pop these in the freezer. These little rounds, quiche, meat pie, all kinds of things. All right, guys, so we have our pie crust. I'm making a cherry almond pie, so I'm just going to quickly run through the steps of that for you. So what we're going to do, this is my maraschino cherries, my homemade maraschino cherries that I made. We have a video on the channel about that. Maybe I'll post a link in the description. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put about maybe I think I'm going to do 3 cans into this pot, maybe with a cup of sugar to sweeten it up. And then I'm going to boil it and put a little cornstarch in it to thicken it like a cherry pie filling. And then I'm going to spread that on the bottom of the pie. Once the cherry is spread, then I'm going to put a custard over top of it or a vanilla pudding, something. I'll find a recipe, and that's what I'll do. And then I'll put whipped cream on top. And that's the pie I'm going to take to the fall festival. Hopefully it tastes good. We're going to eat it tonight, and we'll find out. Okay, guys, it's day 2 of my perfect pie crust. And yesterday I made the pie crust. I baked it. And then I made the cherry filling. That'll be another video because this video is all about the pie crust. And then I put in a vanilla cream on top of the cherry filling. This here, we've been eating this. We've already cut into it. It's so good. So it's day 2. So this here is the one we're eating. I kind of ran out of whipped cream, so I only put a little bit on the top. This here, guys, is my pie that's going to the contest, the award-winning contest today. If you're doing a cream pie, you want to make sure that you have a day to set the pie. But anyway, guys, as you can see, we've been eating this, and it is delicious. I don't know if it's award-winning. This pie contest is at the church, and it's always amateurs that are judging the pies. So, you know, it's kind of based on their preference because they're not professional pie judges. But anyway, I just want to show you. And that's okay too, guys. It's just for fun. It's just for fun. The very first year that we did the pie contest, my youngest daughter, she won, and she forgot to put the sugar in her pie. You know, she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't know what she was doing, and she won a pie contest because it's just for fun. It's just for fun. And anyway, so I'm just going to show you. I'm going to take this out. I just took a piece out. See how perfect that is? See how perfect that is? And I don't know if you can see it, but this is the flakiest pie crust you are ever going to see in your whole entire life. So here, let me just, if you go down here, look at all, this is all just flaky. It's just flaky. The crust that's left behind. Just melts in your mouth, flaky, guys. And this here, award winning. Let's have a taste. I'm just going to put a little more. The whipped cream that I put on this pie is real whipping cream. It's not out of a can. It's real. But because we ran out, I'll just put a little canned whipping cream on there. And also too, if you're when you're decorating, this is just a little tip. If you're decorating anything with maraschino cherries, you need to wash them and then pat them completely dry, or all that red runs into your food and ruins it. So let's have a taste. Cheers, guys. I'm gonna say before I even well, I've already ate it, so I know it's delicious. But this is my favorite kind of dessert. Lots of cream, lots of cherry, lots of almond. Delicious. So good. So good. But remember, give the pie crust a try. If at first you don't succeed, it's because it's in the technique. It's in the way you handle the dough. Or how I should say, unhandle the dough, because you want to handle it as minimal as possible. As minimal. You don't want to touch that stuff. You want to see little veins of lard or shortening running through that dough, like a little spider web of white, so that when it bakes, all that crust becomes flaky. And that's a traditional pie crust. Not this cookie stuff, not this graham cracker honey crust. No, this is the real deal. If you can master this, you've really mastered something. That other stuff is easy. This is not easy, guys. So give it a try, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you next time on Back to Basics with Mandy. Have a good day, everybody.